Hi guys, welcome to 5 Minute Book Reviews with Fee. Today I'll be reviewing Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. And Becoming is about Michelle Obama's life story growing up in Chicago. It's about her relationship with President Barack Obama. And then it's also, of course, about her life in the White House, including raising children in the White House. I was more interested in the first part of the book. The book is divided into three parts. One is called Becoming Me. It's about 8 chapters. The second is Becoming Us, where she discusses, her relationship with Barack Obama and falling in love and, having children. And then the third is Becoming More, where she leans more into the politics and her policies while serving as a First Lady of the United States. I have to say that I'm not going to give you a play-by-play of the book because it is such a worthy read. I listen to it on Audible. I find that, and Michelle Obama narrates Becoming, so it feels a bit more personable. It's so appropriate. It's so appropriate that she uses her own voice because she speaks about, finding that voice and asserting that voice. Although it was difficult doing so and not coming across as the stereotype of the angry Black woman. But Felicia, I felt more drawn and related more to the Becoming Me part. I too am from Chicago. I'm from the West Side, and Michelle Obama grew up on the South Side of Chicago. She went to high school at Whitney Young, which is the number one, at least at the time I was growing up, it was the number one academic public high school in Chicago. And I got accepted to Whitney Young, but my mom wouldn't let me go. For some reasons I'll probably write in my memoir. But I ended up going to the number 2 school, which is Lincoln Park, in the Lincoln Park neighborhood of Chicago. But deep in my heart, I always wanted to go to Whitney Young. And so she gives this detailed account of just the opportunity being there, the challenges that she faced, how a counselor told her she wasn't Princeton material, like all of these challenges that I could relate to. I was the gifted kid and had the opportunity to go to be in, a program that you had to test into, and you're not only fighting your own self-doubts or self-doubts of others around you or people who are maybe jealous that you have the opportunity, but there are sometimes adults in leadership positions who feel like you don't have a right to be there. So I was just really intrigued by her experience there because it's something that I always, I wish I'd gone to. She also speaks and discusses growing up, living on the second story of a home with her aunt and uncle living on the first level. So they didn't own their home; they were living with their aunt and uncle. And that it's so Chicago because growing up we lived in a 2-flat and always on the second floor. When I was maybe a freshman or a sophomore, probably a sophomore in high school, that's when we moved into a tiny house still on the west side of Chicago. So a lot of the things that she was stating, they were just so Chicago. So she starts the book at the end. So they're out of the White House. They moved into their home back in Chicago. I don't know if it's Hyde Park or I think it's Hyde Park. And she's home alone. There's Secret Service still outside her door, but she's able to do something that she wasn't able to do in the White House, like sit outside on the balcony. But she describes being hungry, and so she goes and she makes a cheese toast. And I'm like, That is such a Chicago thing. And you don't realize it until you maybe travel to other states and meet people from other states and they're like, cheese toast? Like, what? Like, yeah, cheese toast. You take some bread, you maybe put some butter on it, the bottom, you put the cheese on the top, you put it in the oven, 400 degrees, because, we cook everything at 400, until the cheese bubbles and the bread gets toasty, and you can put a little honey on it if you want, if you're feeling a little bougie. But it's the best thing ever. And she's sitting here reflecting on the presidency, eating a cheese toast, and I'm like, Michelle, that's my girl. But so just her childhood was intriguing to me because it didn't mirror mine exactly. I mean, we were different generations in terms of when we went to, high school and grade school. Not generations, maybe 15 years. I guess that's considered like a generation. But it was just so relatable. Even talking about going to Navy Pier and the museums, and how I love the library and the museums when I could go. And just that cultural aspect of being in a big city, that if you're not able to avail yourself of those things because maybe you just don't have the money, or it's you feel like it's closed off to you, it can really be a deficiency. But next, she does talk about becoming us and how she met President Obama, how he was assigned to her at the law firm that they both she worked with, and they were trying to court him. So I believe it was like an intern. I don't think that was the right term, and how she wasn't initially that attracted to him, and she didn't want to date him because, he reported to her, and I'm like, get out of my head, Michelle. Because I think of things like that, always trying to do the right thing. And that's the one thing I could say about her that also I could relate to. Like, just plugging away academically, knowing, okay, I have to do this to get ahead in life. Like, education is the key that opens up access to the world for me, for someone who grew up in a hood or a ghetto on the west side of Chicago. And how, I don't know if kids today realize that, or maybe they do, but education is under attack, politically, and it really is, it's invaluable. And so even like just describing like their first date, and then them going to get ice cream afterwards, and she kind of basically says like it was on and popping after that. But I mean, she said it more eloquently than I did, but just to understand that the foundation of their partnership is love and loyalty, and then that makes everything else make sense. And how Michelle had a different idea and trajectory for her life, that she pivoted because of her love and loyalty to the president, and his love and loyalty to her, and how serving the country is a personal sacrifice. It's a personal sacrifice to those who do it, who really have a heart for people, because you are serving the entire nation, whether they voted for you or not, whether they like you or not, and you're working your hardest to improve the lives of others. So I know this was longer than 10 minutes. I could go on and on and on. I don't want to get into the whole politics of everything, but if you want to know about her touching Queen Elizabeth and the story behind that and all the controversy it caused, or when conservatives were saying she didn't love her country, or the birther thing, or any of that, or how they had Christmases in Honolulu, which I'm like, man, I ain't never been to Hawaii. I gotta go to Hawaii because Michelle Obama has been to Hawaii. I gotta go to France because Michelle Obama went to France, So yeah, needless to say, Yeah, I'm a fan. I got a chance to see her speak before this book was published, so I could afford the tickets. She was in Indiana, so me and a friend went to see her, and it was a phenomenal speech. And I'm like, wow, I highly recommend. Okay, I'm at 10 minutes. I gotta go.